Hey everyone, it's Sleepy Reader. Doing a voiceover later in the day after I shot this footage from my lunch break. In an attempt to eat healthier and lose some weight, I've gained about 15 pounds this year, which is not good. On this lunch break, I went over to the Whole Foods in a shopping center about half a mile away or a mile away from work, and brought along some comics with me to read. So ever since I got this new phone, I guess I've been doing slightly fancier stuff. Figured out like one or two tricks to do on iMovie on the phone. So the three comics I read today were Maestros, Kid Lobotomy, and Batman. I particularly wanted to make sure to read Batman because until I read Batman and my other Bat books that I get, I can't watch Joshua Hayes' reviews, which are amongst some of my favorite videos to watch. So I wanted to finally get to the Batman, which is getting old now. And then go back and watch Josh's reviews. So, but let me start with Maestros. I'll do it in the order that you'll eventually see them in this video. Maestros has the amazing art by Steve Scroce, who also wrote it, and incredibly well colored by Dave Stewart. It's kind of the master class in slickly produced comics, really. Almost artistically, in terms of kind of a certain style, kind of a perfect comic book. But we kind of jump ahead a bit in the second issue and see what our hero does now that he is the king of the Magic Land. And he kind of does, I don't know if he's like a joke on every liberal fantasy of how you would fix everything in society, but that is perhaps what he is, and he's very naive and idealistic, and you can, although still kind of into his own ego and stuff, and you can just see him heading for a fall as you read the story, and it made me kind of uneasy while I was reading it. Just waiting for the other shoe to fall, so to speak. And when it does fall, it's all done really well. Scroce's a good writer, but when it does fall, it kind of follows kind of an old hoary cliche of fiction, where you can't trust the person you think you trust the most. I hope that's not giving away too much. But there's just so much amazing artwork in it. It's well worth a read if you're a fan of. You'll soon in the video see some of the artwork. I was thumbing through the books trying to decide which to read other than Batman and Kid Lobotomy, and I then picked Maestros. I think you'll see in another minute. I wondered how many pages it was, and I counted the pages, and there were 22 pages of art. So I think in the first issue, amazingly, there was 28 or 32 pages of art, which was amazing. You just wonder how long Steve Scroce can keep up this incredible work. It's probably a mini-series. They still haven't announced that, but I can see it wrapping up in 6 or 8 issues, quite possibly. But I'm really looking forward to the next issue, which isn't that far away. It said it's coming out December 12th. And then the next comic I read was Kid Lobotomy, which even more than I thought in the first issue is kind of an homage to William Burroughs. It's a very William Burroughs-like comic. If you've ever read Naked Lunch, which I proudly struggled through when I was about 21. I haven't read it since. Maybe I should go back and give it another try. And I have not really sought out a whole lot of other books like it because it was such a mishmash of crazy but brilliantly written scenes. This just resembles a lot. He seems to reference Kafka more than Burroughs, but really, so many of the scenes in this comic, to me, draw directly on kind of a Burroughs like kind of collage of Grand Guignol type of scenes, a collage of crazy types of moments. And there's lots of interesting bits of narration and interesting bits of character, but they're all shuffled together in odd and weird ways that make it a little hard to pull out the more traditional story out of this, if there is a traditional story. Part of me wants it's gone so far in a incoherent direction. Part of me really wants it to continue in that direction and just be a total crazy William S. Burroughs cut up surreal mishmash. But on the other hand, that would be kind of unsatisfying, and there are hints of more story and psychology to it all, because in a way William Burroughs, his writing, or at least in stuff like Naked Lunch, is almost more like a performance than a story, if you know what I mean, like a performance done with words and ideas and characters and scenes. I did find the Black Crown package kind of fun, but still kind of pretentious and too self-conscious. And the whole idea that they're really punk still is hard to buy into. They do have this comic coming up called Punk's Not Dead. First I thought, when I heard someone talking about it, I thought the title was Punk Snot Dead. But that's not the title. It was kind of weird where they're showing that they based the main character on Mick Jagger, which I thought was odd. Oh, and there's these joke ads in here, and I like the one about learn to edit, and they basically make it sound like they make a total joke on editing, which is interesting in this comic that is so, with Shelley Bond, the editor, being such a public figure in it. I just thought that was funny. And then after that, I read Batman, which most of the issue was an extended duel between Talia al Ghul and Catwoman, Selina Kyle. And it was pretty fun and well done, but it continues my feeling of a whole comic, or this whole 3-issue series, where everything is kind of cute, which is a really weird turn after the war of jokes and riddles, and I kind of don't know what to make of it. And again, I'm back to asking, like, who is Batman, or what is the nature of this Batman comic? But one thing I noticed is the whole 3 issues had a rhythm to them that's repeated in each issue, roughly. And there's something very formal and it's like Tom King had a concept for what these 3 issues would be like. And maybe they don't match the concept of the last arc, but internally within the 3 issues, they have kind of a rhythm and a structure, and so sort of just a basic architecture to them that is kind of consistent. So, and then I went out the other door of the grocery store. I'm showing you a little bit here, and had to head back to work. So, thanks for joining me. I'll probably have more to say about Batman